Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, coach. Welcome to the straight red car. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card and our sponsor, KY Jelly. If it's too tight, the Glide makes it right. And this is the Glide, actually. So make sure you use that. If she's, small or tight or, it's a hole that you need to get into and they want you to get into it and you can't get into it. I mean, I don't know how more general I could be about that.
Agent, man. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we lost that game, but let's start with a turd. Welcome, one. Welcome all to a very somber edition of the Straight Red Card. Let's all get drunk. Let's all get stoned. Let's all go beat someone up. No, we don't want you to do that. Gregg and company left me in Qatar. What a dick. Do all those things except don't beat anybody up. There's no point in that. I'm long past those days of barroom brawls, and you don't need to do it either. It's not worth it. Plus, the police show up, and then you have to talk your way out of it. It's just not worth it. All right, Brett,
Hold on, there's another turd welcome here.
Welcome back to a very somber episode of the Straight Red Card. Let's get drunk, stoned, and beat someone up or off. GG told me, turd, it's been an honor. I'll miss your factoids. By Gregg. I don't think the factoids are over yet. I really don't. And the number of times I've been told this is the second youngest team in the World Cup seems endless at this point. So factoids continue. So yeah, we lost, folks. It happens. And I got up this morning, kind of like, I'm going to watch the England game. I'm skipping the first one. And I was going to get, so I made sure that I had sugar, bread, vanilla, cinnamon, eggs. I was going to make some French toast. Right about getting to it, I realized I had no syrup. I had to go to CVS and buy organic syrup. It was tasty. I mixed it with this pomegranate and blueberry jelly that I have, the syrup, and it was fantastic. I haven't had French toast for probably years.
What's organic syrup? Made from real maple trees.
Real maple trees, not the fake ones. I don't know. People throw organic.
Less artificial sugar
now.
in our maple tree syrup.
It's ridiculous. I mean, Brett, I don't even know where to start with this because you do? Okay, because I'm confused because I have so many things to say about the game.
Well, I figure before we even get to the game, we should probably talk about some of the videos that are popping up on our feed.
All right. Let's do those. Let's do those first.
All right, so we got some tactical videos up here. Hey, look at that.
So, Tact, your shit isn't totally broken because it was only streamed an hour ago, and there are already 2.3 views. So, hopefully, that's not an issue. And
we got some orca, some killer whale action going on.
Kayaking with some
curious. Fuck that.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm just rowing back in. Fuck this shit. I mean, listen, orcas, they eat seals.
Yo,
fish.
Yo, click the fishing video. Jose's got it right.
If it were nude fishing, maybe. And then what's this one? Increase semen volume? Why would you even want to do that?
I'm sitting here looking like, man, our chat is like just banging, man. There's so many people in there right now. I wonder how many people are waiting. Oh, there's only 17 people. Went back to the home screen. I said, increase semen volume. What the fuck?
That's not a thing. Like, there's not anyone I know that wants to increase their semen volume.
You could save 13 minutes of watching and basically just don't have sex for a long time.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Be up to the brim with it going.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the only other reason you might want to do that is to have babies. Like, the more the merrier. there's a better chance that one of them's going to hit the egg. But other than that, I've never met a girl that said, when you let it loose on my face, I want my whole face covered, not just my mouth and my fucking nose. The whole face, just the whole, please, just let it loose. Never heard that. Never heard that requested from anybody. So this seems like a ridiculous. I don't even understand. She's a doctor. It's Dr. Rachel Ross.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at this, and if I'm a dude generally, and I'm on YouTube, I'm thinking, well, why would I want to do that? Like that should be in the title somewhere. How do you increase semen volume to have more babies or to splatter all over your girlfriend everywhere? I don't know. It just
Christopher says, drink water from the hose. Apparently, that makes the difference.
No, I think
you get all the minerals from the earth in there, man.
I think the hose is representing what she's hoping you'll get to, which is just a massering hosing of your semen everywhere. Imagine the cleanup of that. You got semen all over your fucking room.
While I appreciate the volume coming out of the hose, obviously, but the actual thumbnail itself, she should have had the hose and putting the thumb over it, so it's really coming out. That would have been a great.
Exactly. I mean, maybe that's something dudes are into. When I explode, I really want to explode. I don't know. I don't know.
I joked around with this earlier, but it's so you can have a bukkake team or a party without all the other people there.
Yeah, but all right, okay, but unless you're a bukkake porn star, I don't see the need for this increased semen volume thing. I really don't.
Yeah,
half of it's wasted anyhow. So what's the point? Half of it hits the floor. All right. What else we got?
Let's just take a look. I didn't have much, but let's see if there's anything else.
Are we still shadow banned?
Well, we are now after we talked about increasing your semen load.
I think we have been the whole way, but that's okay. We're fighting through it.
I'm just looking through some stuff. Oh, that's nothing. That's a nothing burger. I got one thing here. It's kind of leading into the talk anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently there are some players already out there saying, "Hey, I want Gregg back."
None that matter. None that matter.
Jesus Ferrer, Jordan Morris, Sean Johnson,
all gone after this World Cup.
They're all saying, "Hey, Gregg, come back, Gregg." You know who said Gregg wasn't likely to come back? Was Gregg's good friend Casey Keller.
Yeah.
He basically said, "Hey, you know what? Gregg likes the day in, day out grind of being a manager, not this once every month and over Zoom calls." And, he's probably I don't know anything. I don't have any inside information, but he's probably going to be looking for a club situation after this.
Gregg wants to be able to have the opportunity to create players that are complete zombies every day, not just once a month. So, and listen, I say that in jest, because we actually played pretty well this World Cup. I mean, I'm not like sparkles are coming out of my ass.
And go back and watch all of our shows. We've definitely had things to nitpick.
Oh yeah, and
there's definitely things to complain about.
No, and I'm going to nitpick them again today. Jesus Ferrer, I would love for him to stay, but that is out of my control. That's going to be on him and whoever is in charge of that. Yeah, it should not be up to Gregg whether Gregg stays or not. That should be something.
Shouldn't be up to Jesus either.
No, it should not. And he realizes that it's up to Ernie, it's up to McBride, and it's up to whether you think any coach should be, rehired after 4 years. And Brett's not a believer in that. I am
CEO
more
of
open
one
to
cycle
it.
club.
I'm
one cycle club.
I'm more open to that idea of re-signing the same coach, but not Gregg. Because for me, getting out of the group was where he needed to be, and that was sort of like, okay, that's a requirement. Getting into the next round was kind of like, okay, you got to win that game. If you win that game, I'll consider it, even though I think you are a hyper fucking joystick manager. I'll consider it just because maybe you got something culturally going on there with the players that's going to make them continue to go. But I would have need to have heard that argument. And I haven't heard that argument. I see the argument. I see that the players love to play for each other. And that's something that has to be fostered by a manager. But I also see a manager who doesn't like any criticism whatsoever. And John Brooks, Matt Miazga, you say something, anything, Matt Hoppy, you're out. You're done. And that's what we don't need either. I didn't see Reyna play any significant minutes until this game as well. So something's not totally right there. U.S. men's national team, Ataku, Sean Johnson, to talk about it so soon afterward is an emotional moment for the group, including Gregg. All those things will be ironed out. Ultimately, I think he has done a fantastic job. And obviously, if he chooses to continue and all things align, fantastic for the group. Listen, honestly, if you've ever had even a teacher, like your fourth grade teacher, she's really good. Maybe you don't know. You're in fourth grade, right? You don't know if she's a good teacher or not. But she likes you. You're getting good grades. Things are rolling. You don't really know how good of a teacher she is because, she's the teacher you had before seemed okay too. So here is, there are players that on our team at Leeds, etc., who have different managers. Obviously, they're going to compare them to Gregg or whatever. But you know what? When it comes to national team, this guy picked you. This guy's playing you. You're going to have, in this case, not playing you. You're still going to say nice things. What does anybody expect?
Jordan got, some minutes.
I think Gregg has done an unbelievable job since he come in. You see, the progress over the last 4 years. He's an incredible manager, and we are lucky to have him. That's how Jordan Morris sounds.
White Mike Tyson there, huh?
Van Gaal said it all. Yeah, we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, because Ken brought it up, do you want to just bring up the quote?
Yeah, let's bring it up. Van Gaal did say it all, but a lot of people are taking it as a total chop at Gregg, and in a way it is. He said, I would assume that the stronger the country is, the less they'll be adjusting. He's talking about England, Germany, Argentina, Brazil. The stronger the country is, the less they will adjust.
It's a two-prong here, quite frankly, because the first sentence, the stronger the country, the less they have to adjust, is based off the quality of the players.
It is, but I think he's also saying how the countries think of themselves. So Brazil's not going to do any major adjustments because they think very highly of themselves and what they have. And they're going to come out and say, beat us.
Well,
this is what we do, beat us at what we do.
It's the stronger the country. So, you're looking at Brazil.
This is translated, Brett.
Okay. Come on.
It's translated from Dutch.
I'm sure the general consensus is there, though. Regardless, he's saying that the stronger the country, the less they are going to adjust, the less they're going to change how they play. Yes.
What he was meaning to say, and I'm trying to tell you because I read some Dutch shit, is that what this literally means, they didn't get it totally, the translation absolutely right, is countries that feel that they are very much the stronger team aren't going to adjust. They're going to make you adjust because we're the better team. You adjust to what we do. We don't adjust to you. We go out and play our game because we're awesome. And then he says,
I guess the way they interpret it. Now you can interpret it one way or the other, but yes, okay.
No, I'm just telling you what Dutch people explained it online and said this is actually what he said, not that quote. That quote doesn't really explain it. And he said after that, and Team USA didn't adjust and they didn't adapt. He's basically saying in a way, the U.S. and Gregg thought so highly of themselves that they weren't willing to adapt or change because they thought they were the boss. And they expected Holland to do the adjusting because they weren't changing a goddamn thing. That's what he's saying there. Go ahead.
I was going to say, again, just looking ahead the next sentence, and I may be reading too much into this, but maybe he's gone back and looked at how the U.S. has played and realized that Gregg does not adjust. So he came out with a game plan. We based the tactical plan on that. That probably allowed us to win. So, again, he knew that Gregg wasn't going to change shit because Gregg's plan B is plan A with just different players.
Again, I think the comment, I would assume the stronger the country is a very generic thing to say. But what he is saying is essentially Gregg and he and his people thought what they did was pretty badass and very good, and they're going to stick to it, hell or high water, and they were not going to adjust. And yes, that's his assessment, but he's also correct in if he assessed that Gregg doesn't change or adapt generally. And he said we based a tactical plan on that. That probably allowed us to win. Yes, I think he's patting himself on the back a little there too much, because honestly, if Pulisic scores that first chance in the very opening of the game,
2 minutes in, yeah,
totally different game. It's going to be a totally different game from here on out.
Yeah, it would have been the Gregg Berhalter special. We would have just gone a little more defensive at that point and just weathered the storm for the next 95 minutes.
I don't think he would have burrowed in that quickly, but I do think we may not have seen Reyna until much later in the game. I think Ferreira.
Yeah, because the game plan would have been completely different, and you wouldn't need to bring in somebody like a Reyna at that point because we're already up. Why would you need to bring in a potential goal scorer or assister?
I mean, you just have Ferreira play more defense, period.
Well, he didn't play any offense, so might as well.
And so the next line is correct. Berhalter and many of his players kept positive, even defiant, and about how the match played out. No, I mean, they stayed defiant about how they were going to play. But tactically, what Van Gaal is saying here, is that we had a plan, and the plan was to attack the flanks. That's the next quote. We don't have to, because that's just basically what he said. And yes, that's exactly what they did. And no, we didn't change a goddamn thing. And I'm okay with it for the most part. I can't believe I'm saying it, because I think Gregg and the team took that chance realistically knowing that someone was going to eventually take advantage of the fact that our two backs, left back and right back, bomb up the field and leave us exposed on the wings. And that's what happened in this game. But that's tactically, you can blame that on Gregg, right? But none of the goals can be blamed on Gregg. Listen, the fact that the transition happened and the Netherlands got into an attack, you can blame on Gregg. But the individual goals that the Netherlands scored were not on Gregg. Because even as risky as we played going forward, and knowing we were going to have to get back and be prepared to stop the counter, and the first one, by the way, wasn't a counter. That was 20 passes to make that goal happen. The first goal, that's not a counter attack. That's just us being inept. In particular, Adams being inept. It
was Adams ball watching, didn't track back with his man.
Right.
Yeah.
So can you bring up that slide I have that's called tactical?
Oh, going all the way to tactics.
Yeah. So the Blues, this is us in possession and us losing possession. And this happened time after time. Not often, but enough time after time to make a difference in the game. You can see 4 representing Jedi and 6 representing Dest. 5 representing probably Musa. Losing
weird because I see 4 and I think of Adams, but
yeah, don't think of that. Yeah. So the number 5 represents Musa losing possession. Well, look at where Klassen is. Klassen's marking number 8, who is in this particular thing is Adams. All right. So he's not going to be the outlet, but who are the 2 obvious outlets? 11 and 10. And that was the whole game. Gapko and Depay. And Klassen following in behind them in the rush. And Dumfries, number 5 in the orange, following in on the right side, up the side.
And Blend ever so slowly working his way up the pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
I say that, but he did get the second goal, so.
This was a risky proposition playing like this. But this is how we looked. If you look at the heat map of where all the players were, this is basically how I made this. This is where they were on offense.
It was a game that Berhalter would normally come out and state that we dominated by just looking at the stats, like similar to the Canada match.
Said that.
Did he say
said it again?
He
Yes.
said it again?
He did it again. Yes.
Okay. Well, and I'll take it this way. At least in this match, unlike the Canada match, we actually had opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. So we had more possession, we had more shots, we had more shots on goal, despite the fact that we let 3 in. We had less corners though, I think.
No, we had more corners.
Did we have more corners in the end?
By one. Yep.
I mean, so if you look at just the stats, you'd be like, "Oh, geez, this was well played." But I mean, to the point you're bringing up here, I mean, it was very much a Holland got the ball and then played it quick, and like in 2 seconds they're already by our box. Now they may have tinkered around with it a bit here and there, but it was a quick transition, you know.
Yes, it was, and you would often have Musa and McKennie tracking back. They're represented by the 6 and the 9. And McKennie did a pretty good job. Musa got outran a couple times tracking back, but you can understand it. But then you leave Zimmerman basically hanging out to shield off Depay with the ball, number 10, when he's got it. He's all by himself. And, of course, Ream's going to back the fuck up, too. He's got no other chance. There's no cutting this off. We're going straight from loss of possession, straight to a counterattack by the Orange. And by the way, they didn't have a whole lot of these opportunities because we dominated a lot of the possession in the first half. So, but when they did,
ironically, because our midfield was taken out of the equation in the first half.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
They played man marking that entire first half, and our midfield had nothing to do with anything.
Nope.
For most of the game, outside of watching the ball and losing their man.
Klassen was all over Adams' nuts the whole time. And if we went back to that 4-4-2, we would have had a better chance. But we didn't. And so, Van Gaal's been studying this whole setup for probably 5 months, 3 months, or whatever, since we knew we were in the same group. And he had a plan for us. And Gregg
played right into it by playing Ferreira.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the loss of Sargent cannot be underestimated. It was a massive loss. Mm-hmm. But, again, criticism of Gregg. Where's Pepe? Stupid fuck. That's another hybrid. We could have had a Pepe there. He can head balls. Listen, the other thing that came up was the United States sent in 93 crosses in this tournament. 93. Number 1. That's the number 1 highest number of crosses in the tournament.
And we got our head on one of them, right? And that was Sargent's crossbar off the post.
The next closest team to us is 79 crosses from another loser, Mexico. No one else crossed it as much as we did and failed to get anything out of it. And you're going to put a midget like Ferreira in the center when you're crossing the ball that much and you have that many set pieces. Your guy is 5'7" against Virgil van Dijk and a guy named Noppert who's 6'8". What kind of stupidity is that? No, I get it. You didn't want to start Haji right. He was a wreck last game.
Noppert only had to stand up and he could catch across where Ferreira's trying to head it. It's like, and he's like, I don't think so.
He's at Noppert's nipples. That's how short he is. Now you could have put Reyna in from the start.
What would that be? That'd be like a 9 foot reach or whatever.
At least Reyna's 6'2".
You can put up a fight then, I guess. But man,
all I'm saying is, if you're going to cross the ball 93 times in a tournament, you might want to have somebody tall enough to get on the end of it. Just an idea, just a thought. Since Pulisic's a fucking small little dude. And Weah doesn't really get in the box. He's usually delivering the cross. Who do you got? You got Weston, but he's got to find his way there because he's got other duties. But if you got Pifak, you might have a shot. You got Pepe because Sargent's injured and Wright's a fucking disaster. You might have a shot at something. And this whole joke quote from fucking Gregg. Oh, we didn't have Memphis Depay, who plays in the Champions League. Well, guess what?
Did he say scores in the Champions League or whatever?
Yes, he scores in the Champions League. He hasn't scored for 2 years. Guess who has been scoring? Out of all, you compare the two, Depay to all of our players, all 6 players have scored goals in the Champions League. 6. And 2 of them, or 1 of them at least, Pifak, wasn't on the team. Brooks wasn't on the team. Who else? He scored a goal in the Champions League in the recent 2 years. There's another guy who scored a goal in the Champions League. Okay.
Yeah. Didn't
Greg, you left him
Pulisic
off.
score, didn't he?
Pulisic scored in the Champions League within the last couple of years.
Weston McKennie had that nice little side scissor kick thing.
Even Adams scored for Leipzig in the last 2 years. So, Greg, stick that quote right up your fucking ass. This is the thing. I don't have any criticism about what you just did and how you lined us up and how we just went balls out. That's fine. I get it.
There's some quips. We had a quip like we said with Jesus.
Yes.
I guess the other question would be is, were you comfortable with Zimmerman being brought back in over CCV after CCV's match against Iran?
None of the goals were Zimmerman's fault.
Fair enough. I won't dispute.
And he continued to defer, as he should, to Ream to do through passes.
But speaking of Ream in that sense, though, man, every time Ream got the ball, what did he do? He took it to his right and looked for Dest or Weah every single time.
Yeah, and they figured that out.
It got very predictable.
He did. Yep. He got too predictable, and they cut off that Dest thing after about the first 10 minutes. They were like, yeah, we know you're going to kick it out to Dest. So, nope, you don't get that lane anymore. And so he stopped doing it. And then he's tried to go more through the middle, and he did find Pulisic sometimes. But sometimes those would get broken up really quickly, and then they'd be on the counterattack.
So Eldon's bringing up a point with Zimmerman. He says Zimmerman made Ream's job harder, though, because CCV can pass on his own and have more options.
I would agree with that, except
that predictable.
CCV did not look comfortable for most of the last game. Passing it out of the back. He still deferred to Ream most of the time. He did. He had
instead of the 95% time that Zimmerman defers to Ream, CCV deferred to him 85% of the time.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But I think that those two weren't the problem. Honestly, they weren't the issue, and they weren't the issue on any of the goals either. So Zimmerman and Ream kind of get a pass in this game. Because they weren't the reason we lost. The reason we lost, and we should have won, by the way, because we can go back through the chances. All right. Pulisic missed the one at the beginning. Haji Wright. Holy shit. Can we pull this video up, Brett?
Do we have a video?
Yeah. I want you to pull this up. This is on Fox Soccer on YouTube. And the video is called Netherlands versus USA Highlights. And it is at 3:10. And this is right.
I would have pulled this up ahead of time.
I know. I should have told you.
Is this the super duper heavy touch?
Yes.
To bypass the goalkeeper?
Yes. We're at 2-1. We're at 2-1 at this point. 2-1.
But yeah, you had Pulisic's great opportunity. You had Weah's rip of a shot.
You had Reeves.
Sorry, you said it's 321?
3:10.
Okay.
3:10, Haji's miss. His heavy touch.
I think it's actually going to be 321, like I said.
Okay. And you had Reams Trickler that could have been a goal on the corner kick.
Oh, yeah. I forgot all about that.
Yep. So it's not like we couldn't have scored 4 goals in this game. We could have. We ended up scoring a ridiculous clown goal. But then after that, here's the opportunity to tie the fucking game. This would have been tied the game. Who's bitching after that at 2-2? Anyone bitching if this game's 2-2? No, we're all excited. We're ready to go to fucking extra time. And then,
David brings up a great point. It was, in fact, still 2-0 at the time.
At this point?
Yeah.
Okay, so he scores this, and then he gets his lucky dick.
Dude, that goal, though, man, I was like, what a brilliant goal by Haji.
He didn't know what the fuck he did, but it went in. You can go ahead and play it. It's like
we'll get dinged for that.
5 seconds long?
We can fight it, I'm sure, but they've been dinging everything, so we'll fight it. Fuck it.
Yep.
Boom.
That is the most ridiculous touch I've ever seen in my life.
Even though that was the worst touch, he still would have scored, except for the Dutch guy got back. But still,
Yeah,
yes, an incredibly heavy touch.
That is the
Incredibly heavy
heaviest touch I've ever seen. I mean, I thought that our homeboy Zardes had a heavy touch.
Yeah.
This was worse than Zardes' bad touch. And I'm not saying Zardes should have been there because he shouldn't have been. But I don't think Pifak would have missed this. I really don't. And I don't think Pepe would have done that either. So that's on Gregg. He picked the wrong players, and that's fine. But you know what? He didn't even have to do that. He could have brought a fourth fucking striker and left someone at home. He didn't need. How many players that we brought in this roster did not play? A lot. There's plenty of space and time for a fourth fucking striker.
Luca De La Torre didn't play. Joe Skelly didn't play.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't take them off, but I would have left Roldan at home.
I know, that's my point, though, is what I'm saying.
And I would have brought either Pifak or Pepe. Not both, maybe. I mean, I would have brought both and left Ferreira at home. But, I mean, if you had to add an extra in case Sargent gets hurt, which, by the way, we talked about. We said we are only bringing 3 strikers. What if one of them gets hurt? Now we're down to 2 options, Ferreira and Wright. What if Wright gets hurt? Now we're down to Ferreira and Sargent.
It was arguably the biggest blunder was to leave Pepe off.
What if Ferreira gets hurt? No big deal. Wasn't going to play him anyhow. Shouldn't have been playing in the first place. I mean, it'd be sad he got hurt.
I honestly didn't think he was going to get played. I thought Wright was going to start the match, or he was again playing 4D chest and was going to throw Weah in at the 9.
Can you imagine that? Play Weah and Pulisic up top. Bring in Aronson and Reyna.
Oh, you're talking about like in a 4-4-2 or something like that, huh?
Yeah, 4-4-2. Exactly. And now that Gregg's played it once, I'm holding it against him that he didn't do it again. What a moron. Like, you're just going to go out, balls out versus the Netherlands? I get it. I listen, there's a part of me that says, cool. You're just going to go out, do a 4-3-3 and go balls out against them. Well, guess what? Sometimes when you pull your balls out, they get hit. That's why we tuck them into pants and underwear and shorts. Nobody walks around holding their balls out with their palms of their hands because that's dangerous. Balls are sensitive things. This game was a sensitive game, and it need more attention to detail. But in the end, have to say, even though I have my problems with Gregg, and I hope he doesn't come back, this was on the players. The players fucked this up. They did.
Yep. Well, we mentioned Adams.
And we'll get to it.
Okay, we mentioned Adams ball watching already.
Well, we're going to go through that. I want to show people how he fucked up, and that's goal 1 clip. But we'll read Eldon Hashik's post here. Weah plus Pulisic up top. Gakpo and Depay.
Equals.
Yeah, but they had Klaassen tucked in behind Gakpo and Depay. That's the difference. That's and it's a major difference.
Yeah, well, I would imagine that if we're playing a 2-striker at that point, then again, you have the opportunity to throw in a person that could play the 10, if you will, or a false 9.
We could have played a 10. We should have played a 10. Did we play a 10? No.
Eventually. Not quite, actually. No, not even at there.
No, we played a false 9.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say whenever Reyna came in, he wasn't even playing a false 9 at that spot. He was playing almost at the standard 9 that Berhalter plays.
And that lasted for 10 minutes. And then he brought in Wright.
Yeah.
And moved Reyna out right.
It was funny. I got a text from Chad while he was at training. He goes, "Yep, I finally get to see if you know his theory, because his theory from the get-go has been, we don't need to play with a 9. We have all these offensive players. We don't need to play with a 9. Just go with, Reyna, Pulisic, and Weah or something like that,
Or just play Pulisic and Weah as 9s, as strikers, and play a CAM behind them, i.e. Reyna. Garrett Sim says, thank you for the $5, Garrett. I was surprised we weren't playing the 4-4-2 when I saw Ferreira in the lineup. No way I thought GG was that naive to stay in the 4-3-3. I was wrong. Yep. I think what Van Gaal was saying in his quote was essentially this. Gregg and the U.S. team came out like they were Brazil and said, we're going to play our game, hell or high water. We're not adjusting. We're coming at you our way. And so Van Gaal said, fine, fuck it. We'll adjust then, since you're not going to. And we're going to make a game plan for your, pretty much arrogant, rock solid thing that we know you're going to do against us.
Well, and in the group stage, we talked about this every single match. Not saying that Dest stayed back, but he was much more conservative throughout the group stage. And then here we go entering this match, and of course Dest is his blood's boiling. He wants to do well in this game, and all of a sudden we're playing the way we played the 4-3-3 during qualifier, where our backs are just, and I wouldn't even say that we got burned on the sense that our backs were up and they had numbers in the attack. All those opportunities got thwarted. It was just our team coming back, ball watching, not following their man, got burned. Or not talking. That's the big thing. Our defense, for whatever reason, stopped talking this match.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a lot of things. Tiredness.
Yeah.
I mean,
guys, you're looking at our backs and our midfield, and almost every single one of them played arguably close to 90 minutes per match, each match.
Yeah, Robinson looked like he's about to keel over. Musa looked exhausted through.
Well, those are two players that never got subbed off, period. Despite the fact that Adams too. Although I think Adams had a little more pep in his step, but
yeah, I thought it was mostly the guys that looked tired to me were Musa looked tired, and Adams is in fucking tip-top shape. And
gotta be for Jesse Marsh.
Yeah, exactly. So there were definitely a couple guys that looked, even by the end of the first half, like they were tired. Edwin Reyes says, thank you, Edwin, for $5.
Mm-hmm.
Timeline for GG's firing, or how long before the fan base gets nervous that he might stay? I don't think there is a timeline. Gregg made it sound like it's his decision whether he comes back or not, which makes me nervous in his interview. If that's the case, if it's up to him, then U.S. Soccer aren't doing their job.
I think there might be a couple of MLS sides that'll be throw their name in the hat, but I think he may be hoping to draw some interest in Europe. But
yeah, but he's not going to coach anything but he'll come in maybe a championship team. He's not getting a Premier League team.
No, it'll start like
Austrian League. Yeah,
start the Jesse Marsh route, which he should. He should start lower. I would hate it if he went and started all of a sudden a top flight of one of the top fives.
Oh,
and he just flunked right out, and all of a sudden I feel like that's almost kind of putting us back a bit, all of a sudden it's like, oh, we can't hire these Americans anymore.
There was a manager that said the following quote, that the United States was the most.
5, Edwin, but yeah.
The manager that most had a team that looked like they were a club team and not a World Cup team was the United States. I can't remember which manager said this. But anyhow, it might have been one of the Dutch pundits. And he said, that's unusual in a World Cup, but the United States managed to pull that off. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Because when I look at us and how we played, we did still look like there was still a little too much instruction and not enough freedom. And that's when we get in that final third and we get so fucking constipated. Well, yeah, we're not really sure what to do.
I felt the freedom was there throughout the group stage. I felt like the players they looked more lively. Again, Pulisic had his free roaming ability just to move around on that entire left half of the field. But in that second match, the match against Holland, we reverted back to our standard 4-3-3, and that's how a lot of us saw how we were playing throughout the qualifiers and going, God, I hope we don't play like this in the World Cup. And we didn't initially.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing about that standard 4-3-3, and we've seen it before. It ended up being a clusterfuck in a lot of positions because you had Weah, Musa, and and Dest, all and that worked at certain points where they ticky-tack it around on that right wing. and eventually maybe get a cross in or try one. They got blocked, and then we get a corner. But it was a little too congested. Like, open up the space by separating a little, like maybe a couple more yards or a few more yards outside of each other. But they did play that rotation, right? Des would be out wide, then Way would be out wide, and then it rotate. Then Musa was suddenly out wide while the other two were inside. But they didn't get the job done. They didn't get a job done enough. No fucking way, go. USSF better hurry up. We got a camp in January. Yeah, that camp.
It's a camp cupcake. It's gonna be.
I wouldn't worry about it.
It's gonna be a pure MLS camp. Maybe I don't know if they'll be able to pull in any scandies, but
cancel it.
It's all gonna be MLS. It's all gonna be an MLS Cup. So at that camp. So at that point,
fuck it. Cancel that camp. Cancel it.
Doesn't matter if it's. Oh, no, I would like to see certain players get a chance to look.
No, replace it with a U23 or a U20 camp.
It's going to be part of that. I guarantee you that camp is going to include a lot of the upcoming U20s and U23s.
Dude, I don't want to see a bunch of fucking MLS lifelong players yodeling around out there.
No, but I would like to see.
It better not be. It better be young kids.
I would like to see. Yeah, I would like to see a mix of the upcoming U20, U23s, along with players like Brandon Vasquez. Eric Williamson.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if I just want to
Mihailovic.
Mihailovic, although he's
in Europe now. Yeah, so that's done.
He's a no-go for that. So I mean, there are players that would like to get a look, but I would 100% agree. It's got to be a youth squad because at that point, why do we need another?
I don't want to see
MLS.
Roldan there. Yeah. I don't want to see Morris there. I don't want to see fucking any old.
They just got all the World Cup.
Will
they don't need to be there.
None of those motherfuckers. Don't want to see them there. I want to see young kids. I'm going to see Paxton Aronson there, even though I'm not real sure about where he's going to go.
He's going to be in Germany already.
That's true. He's gone.
At Wolfsburg. Yeah, he's gone. He's out. Slonina won't be there. He's going to be with Chelsea.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't pull it up yet. He's not going to be there because he's going to be with Chelsea.
Caden Clark will be there to wax his dolphin.
Yeah. We got Cal. Cal's going to be there.
Cal's going to be there to wax his elephant. I am imagining his is bigger than Clark's.
Yeah,
but I'm not visualizing it, just so you know.
Oh, it was a Frankfurt, my bad. Yeah, thanks, John.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, actually, yeah, John had it before. Yeah, John, yeah. Go ahead.
So, a bit irritated, but not because I'm irritated necessarily just at Gregg. Because I think Gregg stayed out of the way for the group stage for the most part. But then he said, okay, here's it is. We're going to take it to fucking the Dutch. We're going to take it to them. And by the way, that guy that was like, you guys do know the difference between Holland and the Netherlands. Yes, we mentioned that briefly in the other show. We do know the fucking difference, or at least I do. And Brett probably doesn't give a fuck. So there's that. Brett doesn't fucking care that there's a difference between, because there's a North Holland and a South. Who cares? Okay? If we want to call it Holland, let us do it. Because, by the way, I go through all my old German World Cup books from 76 and whatever, all the different World Cups. It doesn't say Netherlands in there. It says Holland. Holland is the name the Germans use in their books.
It's just one of those things, again. It's one of those names that if you hear Holland, you know who Holland is. I don't even know what you're even talking about right now. And you start talking about the differences and everything like that. And all of a sudden my mind went off to, geez, I got to go to work in the morning. I got to Charlie here. I got to do this and that. I'm like, I don't give a rat's.
Just responding to one of those guys that, one of those dudes that shows up for a food inspection.
Den's back.
I'm a Dutchie. We don't give a fuck about Holland or the Netherlands. Foreign countries are discussing it more than we do. I agree, dude. And you know what? When I lived in Germany, everybody called you Holland. No one said Netherlands. No one said that. Everybody just said Holland. And everybody knew what we were talking about.
Yeah, somebody commented on my response, or even the pre-match. I think maybe the pre-friendly or the live stream we did beforehand. And I had mentioned like bring on Holland. Somebody's like, who is Holland? And I I ended up posting a picture of Holland, Indiana instead. I didn't think that somebody was second guessing the fact that maybe we shouldn't have been using the term Holland. Maybe we should have been using whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Germans don't run around when you're a tourist in München, and when you say, yes, I love being here in Munich, they don't go, oh, you can't say Munich, you must say München. We don't say Munich here. Munich, buh. Nobody says that. You just live with it. It's okay. All right.
Every time something like that pops up, I just pull up the Ted Lasso quote when he's like, I know I brought it up before, but it's like, hey, now that he's hurt his butt, our buddy Zorro over here is going to be starting a goalkeeper. He's like, it's Zorro. And he goes,
Zorro.
yeah, Zorro. And the two Frenchies go, Zorro.
It's like
I don't know what we're doing here.
It's like that one dude in college that went on a college trip to Barcelona and came back and said, yeah, he's like, hey, how was your trip to Barcelona? And he's like, actually, it's pronounced Barcelona. You're like, shut up, dumbass. All right. All right. So again, I was not frustrated at Gregg so much as I was at individual players, because the individual players blew this game. We've already talked about all the goals we could have had. Haji's heavy touch, Pulisic's, early splash, didn't go in. We had Ream almost with a dick trickler that went in.
Don't forget Zimmerman's bicycle.
I don't think that ever had a chance.
Bicycle's too nice of a term for that. It was sort of like a fall backwards and kick. I mean, it was still in the general direction, so props to him on doing that. But
not to mention, there was another opportunity in there somewhere. But anyhow, we had plenty of opportunities to score. We were not outclassed. We were not necessarily outmanaged, because the attempts that they got, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but listen, I'm no fan of Gregg, and I didn't think he needs to go. But on this occasion, I really didn't think he was that outmanaged. I just think the very few opportunities that they had, they made them count, and we didn't.
So I would say the only place he got outmanaged is their midfield man-marked our midfield and cut the midfield out. And now, mind you, you can't make an adjustment really like on the fly until like halftime. But at halftime, the Dutch went pretty defensive and pumped the brakes, and that kind of made our midfield wake up. Like, oh my god, I got space again. I can move around. I can do all this shit.
Yeah, listen, that's when you maybe move to the 4-4-2, so you're not outnumbered in midfield anymore. So in that case, I'm not saying that Gregg couldn't have made adjustments. So I'm not disagreeing with what Van Gaal said. He could have made adjustments. I'm just not blaming the goals on Gregg's lack of ability to make those adjustments, because all three goals were fucking players not doing basic fundamental stuff.
Maybe the adjustment was bringing Reyna in for Ferreira. Maybe Gregg was looking at Jesus' play in that first 45 minutes. One, not only was he a ghost for most of it, but when he did get the touch, and I believe you texted me, and every time he got a touch, he looked scared on it, is what you said, I think.
Not only did he look scared, if you now look at the actual numbers, he lost possession multiple times. Like, he would get the ball and panic, and he'd lose possession. He just fucking panic. He was not, and I said this before the game, and I've said it over and over again, and if no one wants to listen, I don't care, because Gregg needs to listen, and if Gregg's gone, then fucking whoever else needs to listen. Ferreira is not built for big moments. He's just not. He's a fragile kid. Den Haag, our Dutch friend, we're happy to have you here. We dominated without having the ball. That's very true. You guys did exactly what we want opponents to do. In Dutch, we say walking into the knife. I think you guys can blame the manager for that. Listen, I do understand that Gregg realized at some point that we were leaving ourselves vulnerable, i.e. walking into the knife on both wings. We showed the tactical. Can we bring that tactics thing back up again?
Shit, we got rid of it because we already went over it. 1 second. Give me just a moment.
That's okay. Gregg realized that we were taking a chance, taking a risk. He had to realize that. You can't be that dumb. But he decided to go ahead and take that risk. And then by the time we were down 1-0 and 2-0, we had no choice but to continue to be aggressive. So he continued to push up everybody except for Zimmerman and Ream, who covered the back too. And that left him completely exposed to number 10 and number 11, which happened to be Gakpo and happened to be Depay, and even in some cases Klaassen at number 9. Because every time we lost that possession, there was always an outlet for them out wide because our wings, our left back and right back were pushed so high up the field. But once you're down a goal, you have to then continue the same. Maybe you change a few things and the way it's operating, but you got to still go on the attack because you need a goal. So we fucked ourselves by letting the Dutch score the first goal because now we got to do what we started out doing. There's no adjusting then. I think Gregg's normal adjustments are go for a goal, score a goal, then be conservative. No, we had to go for it the whole game, and so we were exposed the whole game. Chris Gary, I think Ferreira had the worst performance I've ever seen a player have in a U.S. men's national team kit. It was awful. Worse than Jonathan Lewis in the Gold Cup.
No.
About that.
No.
Jonathan Lewis was pretty much, that's up there. That's touching some high sky. Yamato Tekuru. Hey, sounds like a Japanese guy might be watching the show. Or an American with Japanese heritage. Pulisic missed that goal in the beginning was a downer. Yeah, it was a downer.
It was one of those. It was one of those ones that I looked at. Like I said, and I was 2 minutes into it, but I looked at that. And I'm like, ooh, that's foreshadowing.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way at the time.
I did.
I was really like, holy crap! Did we just miss that? Because that would have changed the whole game. Because then the Dutch can't sit back anymore. They've got to come after us. And then that gives us the option of countering them because they got to come after us. And what are we good at? That, countering with Pulisic and Way on the wings.
Yeah.
And then with Blind being the left guy, the left wing back. Yamato Tekiru says, yes, Japanese. Well, welcome to the show. We enjoy your art. We enjoy your friendship.
Enjoyed their play in the World Cup so far too.
We're still rooting for your team to do well. Yes. So you guys did kick our ass before the World Cup.
I just want Japan to win at this point, so that way we have a bunch of the pundits coming out and go, remember when we were shitting our pants when we lost to Japan before the World Cup? Fuck off.
We should have still been shitting our pants because that was just a horrible.
It was a horse shit play. It doesn't matter who we were playing. It's still bad against Saudi Arabia too. So
So Brett, do you want to take a look at that first goal? And it's goal 1 A.
Goal 1A?
Yep, goal 1A, goal 1B, goal 1C, goal 1D, goal 1D.
Got them in order.
All right, so here we go. I was saying this is about individual errors. Look at Adams. Where is Adams compared to Depay? I know he doesn't like to be called Depay. I'm sorry, I'm going to call him that because it was shorter to right. And so we got Musa tracking back, on the left, so that guy's covered. McKennie's tracking back to cover that guy. We're good, right? Zimmerman and Ream are headed backwards. Adams sees the ball go to, I believe that is
1B.
Is that Gakpo or Klaassen? I can't remember.
This is Klaassen.
Yeah, and he's going to get it to Gakpo. But Adams
was probably over here somewhere.
He is. Adams is in front of Depay here. No problem. Look how far. Look at the referee where he's standing. Who's going to beat Adams to Depay in this race to Depay? Guess what? The referee beats him there. So let's go to slide 2. The referee beats Adams to Depay. Depay's still behind Adams here in the second slide. The pass is going out to Gakpo. Look how fast that ref is. He's already headed the other direction. He knows where this is going. Moose has still got the wing covered. Hello. Because Dest was so far up the field, he had to cover it. Adams is moseying, and McKennie is going to go out because he sees the ball, and he's going to go cover. He's going to go get Gakpo. That's all good. Let's move to the next one. Now, all of a sudden, Adams can clearly see that Wes is going to cover Gakpo, and he's got Ream as well. Zim's backing up. Moose is still covering now 2 guys in orange. Dest is not catching up much. I don't know what's going on there, but Adams can clearly see there is a gap. There's a big hole there in the middle, and the guy that's going to fill that hole is right behind him, Depay. Next one.
What line is Jedi covering here, man? Look at that.
He's backing up. He's going to back up and be closer to Ream before this is all over to make sure Gakpo. And then he has Dumfries.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the line that they're keeping here.
Dumfries, you got to keep in mind, is on Jedi's right. You can't see him on the screen. There now you suddenly see Dumfries. He is there.
He was actually marking. Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
So he's marking Dumfries. Ream's covering the hole in front of Turner. Zimmerman is basically looking at the guys that Musa can't catch up to. Wes has got Gakpo, and Adams is doing not what? He just got passed by Depay.
He ran a good solid 8 yards right there. What are you talking about, Derek?
I know, and Depay ran 13 yards. What the fuck is going on? Look at the fucking referee.
Yeah, you have Blend up here. He's able to outrun him. I'm thinking that's Blend at least.
The referee's keeping up with Depay, and Adams is moseying. He's moseying back. Listen, I don't want to pick on. I do not want to pick on Adams. He had a great World Cup. He's a great player. He's a great kid. He's a great captain.
But it's his one fuck up, and we can bring up fuck up.
This is a massive fuck up. It's not a small fuck up. It is a massive because it didn't need to happen. This goal didn't need to happen. This goal changed the game. All right, next one. Now, we've got a nice little shield in the back.
Why is he still watching, though? That's the question. He should be looking to see who he needs to be marking.
It's so obvious, Depay, he's right in front of him. He can smell his anus. He should be getting up on that butthole. But no, he's jogging, and Depay at this point is sprinting to the gap.
I wonder if Adams is looking at the numbers, though. I wonder if he's saying, hey, we're up a man at least.
No, but we're not. We're really not. No.
1.
Zimmerman is in front of. No. Listen, Zimmerman is got 2 guys on his butthole. Musa's behind those 2 guys. This is a scary situation. The ball is going out to Dumfries. Yes. Jedi's the only guy out there. He's got Ream supporting him. Best. Okay, at this point. No.
But to my point, we are up a man in this system here. But that's not to say that Adams shouldn't have been busting his balls to get back.
Dude, up a man means nothing in this situational. This what we're looking at, because Depay's got a free run inside the bucket.
I'm not discounting that. I'm saying that Adams should have busted his ass and got to him. He's right there with his man. He should have got back on him.
Well, the most frustrating part, even live watching this, was watching Depay burn by Adams, and you're going, Adams, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? He's headed towards the empty field. All right, next one. Ball goes out to Dumfries. Here we got Jedi on his own, but we still got Ream, Zim, and Musa and Dest. We got a nice backup, so we got a line of guys in the back. Wes is coming back to help Jedi, and while keeping an eye on Gakpo. But what the fuck is Adams doing? Nothing. He's lollygagging and fucking. I guess he was tired, but this is early in the game.
This is 9 minutes
into that fucking game, Wilmer. 9 minutes.
You should have been well refreshed for this at this point. Now, if this was like the 56th minute, then I can understand, because he's played every single game, and that was my big concern going into this match. I'm like, our midfield has not been subbed out all that often. Wes is the only one who really has been subbed. I mean, they're gonna get wasted.
This isn't about tiredness. This is about somebody's brain turned off.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a bad play. Yeah.
Maybe that could be about exhaustion as well. Your mind turns off, but physically he should have been fine 9 minutes into the game, because Depay is not faster than fucking Adams. I'm sorry, he's not. He's not quicker than Adams. He's not faster than Adams. He should have been able to keep up with Depay. He never saw him, and he never registered in his brain. Look at the fucking referee is doing a better job covering Depay than fucking Adams.
There you go. You said why Adams couldn't get back to mark him is because the referee cut him off.
Yeah, I guess so. It's already too late because the pass from Dumfries is coming. The space at the top of the box is wide the fuck open.
doesn't the pass occur back here because he passes it back to him?
Yeah, but we're talking about milliseconds. Milliseconds.
That's
Here we go.
yeah.
Next slide. Boom. Here
Yeah,
comes
I
the
guess that
pass.
is only like 3 or 4 yards there. So yeah, okay, that's
He
1 or 2
didn't-
steps.
He did not take it deep,
No,
Dumfries. And look at this shit. Wes has still got Gakpo. Zimmerman and Ream are exactly where they're supposed to be. Okay. Unless you want Ream coming out to Depay, but that's not really his job.
No. We saw this with Brooks against who was it? Where Brooks came out to the 18 on a play very similar to this, got burned, scored, and then never saw the pitch ever again for the United States.
When a ball goes out wide, the center backs are supposed to cover the middle.
Yeah.
And they're
Because
Zim and Ream.
you're expecting the cross to come across,
And look at Blind. He's still in front of Moose and
Hello.
Dest. What the fuck's up with that? Come on, guys. Catch the fuck up.
Goal side. Come on.
Adams still jogging. Depay finishes this. Period. End of story. Didn't need to happen. Adams was a spectator, and he played well all World Cup. He made one blunder in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
This was it. And it cost us because then there was no adaptation or adjusting you could do. You had to chase the game. So Berhalter continued. This is 9 minutes in, folks. We had dominated the first 9 minutes of the game. You can say the Dutch let us do it. That's fine. But we still had most of the ball. We still had opportunities. Here, they get their first opportunity. They score. Now we got no choice but to chase the game. Now, do we need to chase it in a 4-3-3? No, we could have changed to a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. But we did have to chase the game. We had to take risks. We had to send people up the wings. We had to leave Ream and Zimmerman on an island. If you're chasing the game, that's what you do. Chris Gary, 199. When is Leeds back? I need some national pride. Well, soon. I believe they kick off again in 2 weeks. Is that true? Or am I thinking? Yeah, I think so.
No,
I think it's 2 weeks between the World Cup. 2 weeks after the World Cup, they start the season back up.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's 2 weeks from now, but it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. Okay.
I might be wrong. I don't know.
2 or 3 weeks. We'll put it that way.
I just remember looking it up like 4 months ago, and that's what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved to goal 2. Again, the whole point of this is to reiterate the fact that, yes, Berhalter is culpable for a lot of things, but what he is not culpable for are the goals. Those were people sleeping. Is this goal 2A?
Yeah, goal 2A.
Yeah, this won't be as long.
No.
Adams out wide, having to cover after the throw-in came in.
He learned his lesson.
So he's covering. Jedi sort of watching. I don't know what he's doing. CP, who was supposed to cover the guy that actually threw the ball in, lost the guy, and he went out wide, so Adams had to cover him. Musa's got a guy. Ream's exactly where he's supposed to be. Zimmerman is exactly where he's supposed to be.
Where he has to be, yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Wes and Des are picking their fucking assholes while Blind makes a run.
I mean, even if Wes doesn't see Blind making the run, this is the open spot that you'd want to come and fill.
Yes, absolutely. That's where you need to be.
But saying that, I'm looking at Des' eye line here. He should be able to see him out of his peripheral at the very least.
He should be, and if
because Blind's running at like 2 miles an hour at this point.
And if I'm Wes, I'm thinking there's a cross coming, and I need to get on the 11, right? I need to get to the 11th meter spot to help Dest out because there's a cross coming. Because that's what it looked like to everybody watching the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it looked like everybody was kind of like lazy. Like, oh, yeah, we get clean sheets all the time. Well, guess what? You're already down 1-0, fuckers. Pay attention to what the fuck is going on. And don't let the slowest
play.
Yeah, don't let the slowest guy on the fucking pitch beat you to a ball.
Yeah.
And that's what happened here. So, again, everybody else doing their job. Dest, snoozing, West isn't even moving even further. He just stands there the whole time.
He took 1 or 2 steps this way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Barely, actually. That's like a step.
I mean, what's he doing in this situation? I know I see that there's an opening in the middle. that no one's covering.
He's waiting for the block to come out to him, and he's going to make that counter and get the goal right before halftime.
But the biggest person to fall was Dest. He blows it. And that's sad because Dest had a really good game otherwise in this game. And Dest had a really good tournament. But in this case, he fucked up. And he didn't pay attention. And that's cool because that's the last one. All I'm pointing out here is all these goals were preventable. All of them. I'm not blaming Berhalter for a single one of these goals. They are all on the players who are either in la-la land or not fucking paying attention or not giving the effort or not recognizing the threat. Here's another one. I mean, what's it?
Over there.
Max Bretos told me that he was raising he said, I put it on a clock. It was 7-8 seconds. He was out there waving with his arms out, saying, I'm open, before the ball was actually delivered. I didn't time it, but I believe Max. If he says it's 7 or 8 seconds, I believe him. Because all of us could see it on TV. All of us.
It's just a lack of communication as a whole. I mean, obviously, you see Turner looks like he's pointing out wise. Like, hey, over there. Over there.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's talking to Blinn and say, hey, make that cross to this guy over here. But
I think what he's saying is to Ream and Robinson, hey, there's a guy out there.
Post.
There's a fucking dude on our back post who's just about to receive the ball and score on us.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. And this situation points it out perfectly. There is, I don't mind a compact defense, but look at how compact our 8 guys are in this situation.
I mean, that's just acres of space right there.
It is.
He can just lob that out of Turner's reach because Turner still has to respect this. So you have this wide open space. Even if he plays it deep, this is Dumfries, right? Yeah, Dumfries is going to be able to get to it and lob it back across.
Right.
So I mean, just acres and acres of space back here. That
You've
was
heard the word
the softest goal in the world.
Yeah, you've heard the word naive a lot from lots of pundits about the way the players played in this game. Yes, naive. This is naive. I don't know what. And listen, again, big fan of Jedi. Big fan of him. Love him. Now, he also played the whole tournament on one leg, essentially. And so I'm not underestimating this, but this was not a physical
You mean this
issue.
whole match in the one leg?
No, the whole tournament.
Jedi?
Yep. He's been playing for Fulham the whole season with an injury.
No
yep.
shit.
Yep. So he's out here playing for us with an injury, but this mistake was not physical. This was mental. This is also bad communication. I know it's loud at the stadiums, but somehow somebody's got to tell, and that would be Aronson, you would hope, also, because he's got a good view at the top of the box to see context. And Aronson doesn't see Dumfries either. Dumfries just standing there.
He doesn't have eyes in the back of his head. I mean, he can't.
But he should have turned around and looked and peeked.
Well, I mean, anytime there's going to be a cross, you absolutely should look just to make sure. Where's the space? Where's the open man? Get to him. But I mean, the other question is, why is he so wide open to make that cross?
I don't know why we're so tucked in there. I can't remember the context, but I do know we're very tucked in. We're very tight. We're playing a 4-4 there on defense. And it is tight as shit. And Aronson's not looking. No one's looking for context. You can see Adams is about to go bust out and go get him. You can see Adams is starting to do that on this. But yeah, this is not good. No one's paying attention to the overall context of the game except for Matt Turner. And whatever Matt was pointing out didn't get across to his players. And that's a goal for the other team. Mr. Jim the Spider says SofaScore has Jedi losing possession 23 times in the game. Yep, that doesn't surprise me.
It wasn't his strongest match by any means.
It was his worst match. And in fact, I kept saying, take him out. He looks beaten.
I mean, if he had been playing with an injury this entire time with Fulham, and then he had that injury in the first half, why didn't they sub him out is my question.
Well, here's the shocker for me. When Yedlin's name came up to be coming in, I thought, okay, surely he's coming in for fucking Robinson because Robinson just spent 5 minutes on the ground.
Yep.
And he's limping around and he looks fucking exhausted and beat. And no, he came in for Dest. Now, Dest did make that error, but you need a goal. Dest is going to give you a goal. He's going to set something up to give you a goal. You don't take Dest off. You replace Robinson, who's obviously suffering. Take him off, put Yedlin or Scally over there. What kind of decision is that? That's stupid. That's just dumb. That's a dumb decision. That's just me.
It was just so unfortunate because we got that fortunate goal with Haji, the flick of the foot, and just managed to happen somehow go above everybody. And you're thinking to yourself, like, it's possible. We have like 20 minutes left because of extra time. We have like 20 minutes left. We could get another goal and tie this up and take it on. This might actually happen. And then, there it goes.
Yeah, and then
I was really tempted to stop watching it, but I'm like, no, it's fucking World Cup game.
But you knew like there was extra 6 minutes that were going to be added, right? So
yeah, that's what
you knew there was time, and then Morris is the guy you bring in to add to the offense, and I don't think that's what I would have done, but that's just me. I would have brought Pepe on this team, and Pepe would have been there, or Pifak.
Well, I guess given the players he has, when it comes to adding more offensive power at that point,
it's Morris.
He's got nothing else to do. I mean, you're going to bring an LTD? That won't make any sense.
He made your bed. You got to lie with it now. Yeah. So that's what he did. Do we want to do any player ratings? I don't think that's necessary.
No,
I really don't. I think that we talked about everything in the game. I don't know how to feel. I feel like, how did I feel? I kind of was like, yeah, saw it coming after the first goal. I just kind of saw it coming.
Well, yeah, you're 10 minutes in, we go down a goal against the Dutch in the knockout stage. You're sitting there thinking to yourself, yeah, I feel like we're fucked here.
All I got is, yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, we came into this match. I came into this match expecting much of what we did during the group stage. And for whatever reason, we reverted back to how we played all through qualifiers, all through the friendlies, summers, and everything. And it was night and day, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just in performances. But we had our chances. We could have put them away, a couple of them away early, and that would have changed the entire – Pulisic's goal could have been a goal easily. Just a couple inches off to the side would have been more than enough. Mm-hmm. It was unfortunate because the ball came to him. He's like, oh, shit, I got the ball. Kick, Weah's half volley was great. Unfortunate that he's shooting against a giant who actually is nimble enough to get down.
Yeah.
But, we had our chances. Haji had another chance. He could have had a brace in this match. Could have. In theory.
Let's close out the show. Can we look up this up too? It's on ESPN FC. I should have told you about this too. And the name of the video is called "What's Next for Gregg Berhalter." What's next for Gregg Berhalter on ESPN FC. And the video starts for me at 5:25, and it's Craig Burley chastising anyone who continues to criticize Gregg. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Nothing's popping up. You said it was who?
What's next for Gregg Berhalter? ESPN FC.
NFC. Let's see if that narrows it down a little more. There it is. Okay, fair enough.
5:25. Get ready to be chastised, Brett.
Yay! What I look forward to. I will say most of the pundits share our concerns and our stuff that we didn't like about the.
No, I agree.
Tournament. So sorry, what was the minute again?
5:25.
5:25.
Gregg apparently thinks that this is the best you can do with what we have. Craig Burley.
Hold on, I gotta.
He's like,
what to share?
What do you expect? What do you expect? Here we go.
The stage.
It's one of the things regarding the US that's always been a little bit of a bugbear for mine, and I think a lot of people
whatever a bugbear is
take it the wrong way. And quite frankly, I couldn't give a stuff. But it's like
give a stuff.
Going back to Gab's point there about, I think there are a lot of educated soccer fans in the United States, and that grows by the day, by the week, by.
Starting off pretty solid. Yes, there are educated soccer players or fans here.
Yes.
But I feel like a giant butt's going to come in here.
There was
just
a big butt.
A big butt.
The year. And I think for the most part, they understand the whys and the where nots and the complications and the tactics and the experience of other sides. And then you have the casual fan who sort of jumps on now and again and then is absolutely dumbfounded when results don't come. But this narrative that they have been...
Sorry, guys, I do have to cut this off from time to time.
Yeah. So, but he's about to say is it's people like us that are feeding the casual fans an unrealistic narrative.
No, I did not see that coming that route, man. He was talking about okay, let's listen, I guess.
Here we go.
It comes from certain people in this country who bash that nonsense down their throats. And so they're feeding on this, US should be doing this, the US should be doing that, Gregg Berhalter should be doing this, Bruce Arena should have done this, and all along.
I don't know what he's talking about.
They should have been doing all that.
They should be doing better. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, but isn't that literally what these guys do too?
Yes, they do all the time.
They should be doing this. Again, I hate to keep jumping back to Ted Lasso, but there's a scene where Roy is doing the punditry aspect, and he goes, you know, we just sit here, we bullshit, and we talk about what this player should be doing this, and then they don't do it, and then at halftime we come on and start bitching about how they didn't do what we said they should have done. You know,
yeah.
I mean, it is. Yeah, I mean, this is projection at the highest degree at this point.
I mean
I'll wait till he finishes his thought process here. But if he's saying what you're saying, he's saying, then that's projection.
He's saying it because he really thinks our team is not that good, and that what do you expect Gregg to do? I mean, we're not really that good. We're not as good as we think we are.
I mean, if that's the case, and we'll address that in a second, but if that's the case, then we should just go into every tournament and be like, I'm just happy to be here, I guess.
Yay, go team!
We played 3 games in the World Cup. Woo! All right.
The reality is completely different. And that goes down to the spoon feeding a lot of these casual fans are getting by some of the US pundits. And I've said that for many.
Did he call us pundits, or is he talking about like Lawless? And
I don't know what he's talking about, but I've never said we could win a World Cup anytime soon. I don't think we're going to win in 2026. I don't think we could have won this year. I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm not out there spoon feeding anybody anything but reality. And if that reality includes Gregg not being a very good manager, that's part of the reality. Why is Craig Burley defending fucking? Because he's basically going to say that Gregg should get 4 more years, which he goes on to say.
There's the thing. But yeah.
And so,
wait, if he's going to say Gregg deserves 4 more years, I mean, to what extent? I mean, again, just to be happy to be at the World Cup, I guess, next, or we're already qualified. So, I mean.
No, he's basically saying our team doesn't have enough good players. What do you expect him to do? That's what he's saying.
Expect Gregg to actually play him in a formation that benefits the players rather than just pigeonholing or pushing that square peg into a round hole, you know?
System.
The expectations far outweigh the realization about where they are. And where they are is actually in a pretty decent place with these young players. And so, you know, I think that's the problem that's never going to go away. When the casual fan comes on board, he's probably heard 1 or 2 Muppets in the media.
Okay, I feel like he's not talking about us. I feel like he's talking about the Lawlesses. And
I think he is talking about Lawless here.
Yeah,
I really do.
And I'm not saying that as a downgrade to Lawless. I mean, I enjoy Lawless content, quite frankly, I for the good and the bad, quite frankly. But I feel like he's not talking about the YouTube grassroots community. I feel like he said we're the educated fans.
I think you might be right. I think he might be talking about Lawless here and saying, these cheerleader guys who are like, why not us? Why not us? That's what Lawless does. Why shouldn't we be able to win it?
I think the casual fans are randomly going onto YouTube to find us, though. So I mean, I think that's the I think that's the cipher there is that the casual fans are probably listening to the pundits / former players that are on shows and stuff like that. They're like this, and this, you know.
Maybe Craig's just talking about people who are giving the casual fans the expectation that we should be competing for winning a World Cup. Well, we're not there yet, but that doesn't mean that Gregg Berhalter is the answer. I watch a lot of media, and no one says they.
I'm guessing says that.
That. Yeah, I don't know. Outside of Lawless, and he doesn't even really say that. He's just a cheerleader for the team.
Yeah, I mean, he says, we can go into this match, and if we do X, Y, and Z, we can hold our own. I don't know if anybody came into this World Cup saying USA is going to win.
I don't know.
We got Pulisic and we got Adams.
Yeah, I don't know who he's talking about. That's providing these casual fans with these expectations.
But I think what he may be trying to get at is the whole cheerleader aspect. The rah, we're gonna do it. Well, let's go, guys.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's referring to. He's saying, "Hey, you guys are on the right path. You have these talented young players coming through the woodwork, but let's dial down the expectations a bit." And we all say that too.
I only watched this once, so it's interesting watching it the second time and getting a different context from what he's saying.
I tell them that the US are going to be close to winning the World Cup, and guess what? In 4 years' time, we'll be telling them the same thing. And the reality is, it's probably just not going to happen.
Well, and to your point earlier, you said there were 8 teams that have won the World Cup.
Yeah.
Most teams are going to go into the World Cup, and this is probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen in my lifetime. But I mean, we have a young, talented squad, and given a good result. I mean, again, looking at the game against Holland. Even if we beat them, we're looking at then facing Argentina, then facing Brazil, before we even get to the finals.
Yeah, and look, you can be a team loaded with stars like Brazil were in Brazil and get embarrassed by Germany 7-8-0. Okay? Shit happens. Winning a World Cup, even if you have world-class players, is an issue. And we don't have any.
Messi's missing that hardware.
I know. We don't have any world-class players, as a lot of people would, put that as a category. We don't have a Ronaldo. We don't have a Messi, but we have very high quality players, but they haven't reached, we don't have anybody at that level. I think Reina will be the first player to reach that kind of level. But yeah, I mean, even if you're loaded, good luck winning a World Cup, man.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of shit that goes.
It's a roll of the dice at that point.
Yeah. I mean, winning a World Cup, even with a team full of guys playing in the top 5 teams in the world, good luck, because there's so many factors that go into winning a World Cup. So anyhow, we can finish this up.
We got our Dutch commentator here bring up a point.
You need more world-class players to win a World Cup. Tactics, mentality, and youth is fun, but doesn't bring you over the edge. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just saying that. Yeah, we don't have any world-class players yet. We have world-quality players. We got guys playing at Juventus and Chelsea. That's fine. That's not enough. They're not the stars of those teams, but you do that. But I will say the Dutch don't really have any either, except Van Dijk. And maybe, Gakpo's coming up and will be one. And maybe, what's his face in the midfield? De Jong.
Well, I think the common phrase, the almost played out trope, is that once we get into the knockout stage, anything's possible. But I mean, using us as an example, we brought this up just going into the round of 16, is that our midfield played practically all 90 minutes. I mean, West was the only one who left at the 70th, 80th, 90th minute area in all 3 matches. But Musa and Adams both played. And we're going into this match, and I'm concerned they might be gassed. They might be worn down. They might be beaten down. We don't have that turnover, and that makes a difference.
It could be that Ake turns out to be a world-class player. It could be that Dumfries turns into a world-class player. So Memphis was great. He has not been great for at least a couple years, maybe a few. But
he only needs that one moment, Derek.
But he does have world class in him. He's been world class before, so bringing that out again.
It was 2 whole matches since I've heard that phrase, so I had to bring it back up here. He's not going to do a whole lot, but man, he only needs that one chance to make a difference.
I think we're done with this video. That was all I wanted to bring up for the most part. All right. Do we have any final comments before heading out?
Let's hit through these Twitter questions real quick and we'll be done.
All right. We will be back with a show on whether or not Gregg's going to stay or go.
Now, we usually do a Monday show, Derek. Are we holding off until Thursday or what?
Yeah.
This is too close, guys, to do a back-to-back live stream. We are pretty good at bullshitting and just rambling on, but man, that's a quick back-to-back.
Yeah, we'll do Thursday, and we'll come back and do a whole show on Gregg and whether or not he's coming back, and
Hopefully
if he doesn't,
at that point.
And if he doesn't, who replaces him? And we'll talk about the future as well in future shows about, who are the guys that are going to fill in for the guys that aren't coming back. Like Bream's not coming back. Zimmerman, chances of him coming back are small.
Unlikely, yeah.
Who's filling that role? Who's going to finally sew up a spot behind Jedi? Who's going to really come out and be our 9 in the future? There are lots of questions to answer right now.
That was an interesting thing because they're like, a lot of the pundits are like, yeah, we need to go out. We need to find a 9. I'm sitting there going like, Sargent's like 23. Ferreira. You have your quips about Ferreira, but he's only like 18. Pepe's 19.
He's 20.
Is he 20? Okay, so he's 1 year old.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he was 1 year younger. But you're looking at like the 3 normal top strikers for us, all being within a handful of years there. So talking about strikers that could contend. Not necessarily. You can make your arguments about a certain player or a debate about a certain player, but if those are contenders, they could contend for the next 2 World Cups. Hopefully, we have more solid contenders at that point. But
yeah, quit blaming it on the players. Pepe scores for Groningen. P-Fox scored all for 2-3 seasons straight, including with Union Berlin.
Various leagues, yeah.
Sargent scoring for Norwich. All right, shut up. It's not their fault with Gregg. Gregg can't get them to score.
We got our 9.
Balogun is something we will also talk about going forward. Who are the other options at 9? We'll talk about that. Jose says, with this new TV deal, I fear the Federation will become much like Mexico and will push domestic players onto the national team solely based on the fact that they play in a big market for them. Hopefully this is not the case, but for what I'm seeing, the propaganda has already begun. I don't think we can do that anymore, Jose. I think that Gregg starting an all non-MLS, all European-based team, that tells you that's okay. It still tells you where the future's going. Yep.
Yeah,
and let's keep in mind a lot of these kids are MLS products that end up in Europe, so there's no shame in having a formerly MLS project starting for the U.S. men's national team. And if that continues with the Adamses, McKenny's, who's from the Dallas. He's a Dallas product. Aronson from Philadelphia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think MLS has any real problem with former MLS guys or MLS Academy guys making it and being on the national team after they left to Europe. So maybe we won't have to deal with that issue. I was listening to Football Picante, says Wilmer Sanchez. I listened to Ricardo Lavolpe, and he said when coaching a country, you bring players to play for their position. You don't coach a country like a club. Yeah, you don't. That's what everybody says. So the fact that one of the pundits / ex-managers in Holland said, this is the closest the Hollands ever have to play a club team in a World Cup because we've never seen a manager be able to put in a system like this.
Whether that's a positive or a negative, I don't know.
I think there's a negative to it as well.
Yeah.
Disappointing to lose off of mental lapses from 3 guys who had been net positives during the group stage. I agree. Taking a moment to stop and think. I think Gregg's biggest mistake for the World Cup will be just not integrating creative players to the core.
Yes.
Yep. There are lots of guys that got left behind.
And you can make the argument, his use of Reyna in this World Cup, and but Reyna was injured for the healthy chunk of Berhalter's tenure that actually got to play because you have to remember Berhalter also had to deal with COVID during his time period, a year and a half of no games whatsoever, and then it's all thrusted together. Players got injured, but you're missing the mark when you don't bring in somebody like a Jordy as an example. you talk about the MLS quota, but then you leave out one of its key creative options.
Yep.
And it's not like he's not integrated into the system as a whole. I mean, hell, he's played through a lot of our youth systems as a whole. I mean, so
yeah.
The fact that it took him so long to start calling him up, and then unfortunate for him, he got injured, and then he got sold, and all sorts of stuff just never worked out for him in this World Cup itself.
My biggest problem with the integration thing is center back. I mean, we didn't really get to see a whole lot of EPB. We didn't get to see a lot of CCV leading into this World Cup, and yet we did pick CCV, so I'll give Gregg credit for that, and he played an integral role versus Iran. But we brought Aaron Long to ride Pine for all 4 games. Why not have another option? Especially when you're looking at the future, because Ream's going to be gone. Zimmerman is likely not going to be.
Derek, that's the next manager's problem. That's not Berhalter's problem.
Well, we'll see about that. We really will. Any more of these?
Yeah.
Jose says Derek's album should be the official soundtrack for the 2026 World Cup. That's a pretty dark album. So I guess that might be right.
All right, it's going to be a dark album because everybody's going to be so upset that the U.S. wins it all.
What's this? Cam, your man is a turd. I'm trying to figure it out, Desi. Help me out here. Cam, your man is a turd. Yeah, I'm not figuring this one out, Brett. Are you?
Cameraman is a turd. Cameraman is a turd.
Cameraman is a turd. All right.
Look at me.
If we get a new manager, he needs to kick these MLS lifers or the Vibes guys to the curb. No more Long, Morris, Areola. So you're not going to get any more Long. Morris is done, I think, for the most part. Areola, too. Roldan's gone. Promote youth and dump the useless players. If Gregg, you got to take into account all of the guys you just mentioned are going to be 4 years older. All right. So that means Long's gone, Areola's gone, Roldan's gone. Morris is probably 4 ACLs into it at that point. Seriously. So if Gregg implemented some guys earlier, perhaps they'd be options in 2022.
He'll be the only player on the pitch with a walker.
Yeah, exactly. Still going.
You have to take into consideration those 4 players were question outside of Long, I guess. But the other 3 players were question marks going into this World Cup.
They didn't get to play except for Morris.
Yeah, so
and Areola didn't
got left
make
behind.
the team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I feel like those players are long gone. Whether or not the coach brings in a different MLS lifer at that point, but not necessarily one that's on Berhalter's team, or maybe Berhalter, if he's back for another tenure, God forbid, brings in different lifers. I don't know, but
I doubt it.
I feel like there's a core group of young players that are applying their trade in Europe for the most part, mixed in with well, you know what? I'm drawing a blank as far as young MLSers that'll probably be on there, but maybe at that point, maybe some of the U23ers might work their way up into that.
That's still to be determined, Brett.
It's so unpredictable because if you do make a 4-year prediction, it's outside of the core group of players.
It's a crapshoot.
It's a crapshoot, yeah.
Because you don't know how many of the guys, and we could go through the list of young MLSers and even young kids over in Europe right now on U18 and U20 teams in Germany and England and even Spain. Are they really going to? We got a hot kid right now in the youth teams at Atletico Madrid. Is he going to work out? It's a crapshoot.
Is that the dual kid or whatever that could play for Canada as well or something?
No, that's a different guy, and he plays for I believe Espanyol. Gotcha. And but yeah, there's that guy too. You could add him to the list, but no, we got another kid at Atletico Madrid.
Who knows? Alex might come out of the woodwork for us.
I don't think so. All right. Last one, I think. Chris Gary, 3 goals that never should have been given up. Yes. Game was a gut punch. I didn't expect them to win, but I thought they played better. Yeah, they fell asleep a few times. Mm-hmm. Now it's time for a new era. It seems that Gregg wants to return to club soccer. Well, we keep hearing that. If that's the case, what do you think can best lead this core? Who do you think? That's going to be a whole nother show, Chris. We're going to cover that. for the whole show on all the prospects. I mean, I've seen some. I watched Pete's show on the prospects, and I'm like, some of them, I'm like, no way, dude. That's no way. And the other ones he picked, I'm like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that sounds like a good pick. So we'll talk about that, and we'll have our own. Ucio for life. Yeah, well.
Got a
Sonora time.
Sonora time.
You know, that's another player along with Johnny Soccer. We might see some more in the next. Yes, thank you, Rodrigo Neri. It's at Letty. Thank you.
And
Jasper.
here's somebody that's coming out, not out of the woodwork.
Booth has been looking good.
Finally, he's grabbing his game by the balls and putting forth effort. You know, putting forth the plays we need to see him from.
And you know, if Booth has, I'll just say this about Booth: he's got a long way to go because listen, the guys he's got to beat out for a midfield position. I mean, we're talking about guys that are already there: McKenny, Musa, and Adams. So
Busio Musa had a baby, huh? That's nice.
Hoppy is your Busio, Derek. We're not giving up on Hoppy yet, but Hoppy needs to do something. He needs to get out there. He needs to play for Middlesbrough.
Is an
Brady's
left back
good.
option, left mid.
Listen, we'll talk about all these prospects, guys. But tonight's show is coming to an end. So
a couple questions left here. Let's hammer through them, Derek.
All right,
lightning round.
CONCACAF should invite teams from other federations to the Gold Cup more often, at least 4 teams. Asia, Africa, it doesn't matter. We need to play teams from different federations. I believe the way it's currently set up, there's only one opening for a team outside of CONCACAF.
And outside of Qatar, we've rarely ever done that I can recall.
What we really need to do is make sure we play the South American tournaments. Because other than that,
get them Copa.
Leading up to the,
look at that right there.
The Copa. Derek. Yeah, exactly. We need to play the Copa because we're not playing anybody of, worth a rat's ass.
Well,
if we're just playing CONCACAF. Listen, Canada's not that good, guys. And fucking Mexico is on they're torpedoing downwards. Those can't be the best 2 teams we play in Nations League, and that's all we get to play. We got to play Copa. We got to go play Brazil. We got to go play Uruguay, Argentina. We got to fucking commit ourselves to real competition, or else we are all going to stink. Next time, 4 CONCACAF teams won't make.
I thought there was talk of doing the Copa like they had in the United States.
There was
a handful of years back or whatever, where like US was a part of it, and they did pretty damn good. But I thought there was talk of that, and I know that Canada got invited to this upcoming Copa, but I thought Mexico and US were already invited. But then everybody keeps talking about like we need to go do this. I'm like, well, I guess maybe they weren't invited already.
Nope, nothing is written down yet in stone. There's been no confirmation, even of Canada yet, as far as I understand it.
Look, it's a new Japanese flag. Look at that.
That's not new.
You not see the line?
Oh no, I just see it now. Why is it in there?
From the ball being out of bounds / inbound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Somebody
good.
tagged us on that, but I just now noticed that was that. Nice.
Let's get behind Japan, the last soccer country left in the World Cup. Woo. Yes.
Wait, was that our friend? No, never mind.
No. I do have to say, who are you rooting for now, Brett?
I'm fine with Japan, or I'm fine with doing. I don't want an all-European semifinals / finals.
Yeah.
So I would love to see somebody like Japan or even South Korea go back.
I was going to root for England, but then I thought, God, they're already insufferable.
That would be so insufferable. Yeah, no,
yeah.
Fuck that. Nope.
Okay. Even Sattervines, FA says, for the new cycle, what are some young goalkeepers that you want to see integrated into the new cycle? I'm biased and want to see Celentano in January and March. Wow. I don't know if we can even have this discussion yet because we don't know what's going on with Stefan. We don't know what's going on with Horvath. We think Johnson will probably be done, but goalkeepers last a long time. So Johnson could theoretically still be around. But
he's specifying with just what young goalkeepers would you like to see be integrated?
I don't know if I have an answer. I mean, I could talk about the kid at Fulham. and the kid at Leicester. There are all kinds of young American goalkeepers out there. And then your boy from Chicago
Brady?
going to Chelsea. I'd have to look more into Celentano. I think it's too early to say, and I don't have enough information on him.
Yeah,
I only just heard things about him. That doesn't have I? Is that, or am I confusing him with somebody else? I don't even know.
I'm certainly interested to see
who does Celentano play for.
I'm looking to see if anybody has it on the chat. I don't know. I certainly would like to see.
Is that one of the guys in the Mexican?
Maybe I'll do this now.
God damn it!
Celentano.
I've heard the name, I think, but I'm not sure.
Adriano Celentano is an Italian musician.
Well, he's certainly not playing, so I'm not even sure if I recognize
Roman Celentano, American professional, plays for FC Cincinnati.
Wow, no, that's not even the guy I was thinking of. No, so I don't even know who that is.
Lisa had a way before. Yeah, I immediately jumped over and started looking it up, and Lisa started spamming the chat with it, so she had it covered.
Yeah, I thought it was that one kid he was talking about that's in the one of the Mexican academies. I'm
certainly stoked to see how Brady does for one, Chicago, but then two, for the U20s and the U23s. Slonina might even be brought in for that too, but I mean he's going to be at Chelsea / the loan train.
Yeah, whoever they loan him to.
So it'll be. I'm hoping that Slonina goes to a place that he can jump in and start competing for playing time immediately.
Yep.
But those are the big two. Obviously, Adunze and Fulham kid, Barto.
Barto, yeah.
I would like. Barto's contending for the. Adunze is also contending for the U23s, right?
Yes, they both are. Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see what happens with both of those, and whether or not they beat out Brady. Again, Brad Friedel stated a while back that Brady has a higher ceiling. That he feels he has a higher ceiling than Slonina. How do you base that? How do you base that judgment? I'm not a professional goalkeeper, so I can't. But
yeah, well,
he sees something in it.
Brad Friedel's assessment of talent is quite questionable anyhow from his time at New England. So let's just leave it there. Mm-hmm. All right. I think we are done tonight, Brad. I don't care if there are any more questions. God damn it. All right. Yeah, let's check out. It's hour and 42. We're almost at 10 o'clock. Listen, guys, we really love that you've been here with us during this whole run. We're not going away. We're going to be here for the rest of the World Cup and beyond. There's lots of things to continue to cover. And as the story evolves with Gregg,
a new cycle starts. Absolutely, we have a whole new coach to bitch about.
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
And we do have a debate to be had about who the coach should be if it's not Gregg. Adam Wilton, thank you for the $2. Mm-hmm. I mixed the Paxton transfer news.
This happened pre-World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, Wolfsburg. So we'll see how that works out. It'll probably start out with
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt, yeah, with their youth team.
Thanks for the $2, Adam. Appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, guys. We will see you soon. We will be back Thursday for another full live show. Until then, this has been the Straight Red Car, and make sure you wax on and wax off with the XY.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!